Well, hello. This is my video for World on Fire, pages 49 through 76. And essentially, in this section, we're talking about ethnic minorities controlling a majority of a country's market. And essentially, it opens up talking about how South America is different in comparison to that of Southeast Asia, for the fact that ethnicity is not as big of a topic in some countries in South America, because there's such mixed blood that goes around. And so people identify themselves and each other differently. However, there have been certain episodes that flared up in Bolivia, that it used to be a peaceful place until recently, in the late 80s, early 90s. There was somebody that came up and basically wanted to overthrow the country. He wanted to do so through the government, though, having a resent against ethnic minorities that controlled land, basically, in his country. And he was very upset about it. So there are flare-ups like that. There's flare-ups in Brazil and all around South America, if you really boil it down to it. Globalization was argued that this is supposed to aid things, that this globalization is what's going to have the people of those countries mix more and to communicate with one another. But really, that's not what was going on, because the added media exposure would show the problems in various parts of the country. It would show how they're maybe in, I don't know, Uruguay, how the ethnic people kind of wanted to separate themselves from the Indians, and the Indians, indigenous Indians, were basically against the foreign people owning parts of their land. And so there's a very interesting social commentary within certain countries in South America, that race plays a direct correlation with social strata. That if a person is lighter skin, maybe lighter eyes, lighter hair color, they might have a better job. They might have been educated in better schools. They probably have experience speaking other languages, which allows them to communicate in the world market. And so really, the issue is still about race, but how race plays a factor in the upbringing of that person. If they have a strong upbringing, a strong background, they are automatically more prepared for the business world than, say, ethnic majorities that receive zero schooling, that have poor health care systems, that have poor public schooling systems, and things of that nature. So really, all this sprang back to essentially the conquistadors. When they first came to South America and certain countries within South America, they took land over, number one. Number two, they imposed a huge tax on the people, not to mention the thousands of people that they killed. But basically, they took all the land and they taxed all the people, so those indigenous, darker people started out poor. And so that just started the cycle of how people are going to be poor. They're going to start out poor, they're going to end up poor, basically. They won't have all those access to all those great things that can really build the foundation for a future. Immigrant wealth is a problem in South America. You have a bunch of immigrants from all over the world that come in, and they have capital, and they can take over the market. A prime example is there's Jews in certain parts of the country, in Brazil, things like that. They just go in with their money, and they have access to capital, which means that they can build more capital. Globalization is not erasing ethnic tensions. I believe that added connectivity will only bring more conflict. And that's my video. Thank you.